Today's little project, gate operators thing, whatever you want to call it, but that's the problem right there. How much force does it take to mangle something like that? 1/4 inch, pretty mangled right there. That's a gate operator stand opener thing, whatever you want to call it. So today's project, or tomorrow's project, we just gotta fix this, but pretty much just chop it, make a new plate, weld it back on, drill the holes in the plate and underneath for the wires to go through, and that's pretty much it. Pretty simple but interesting. What it is, they drive up like on a ramp or something, these big trucks, and then swipe it with their card, I guess, and maybe a gate opens or something like that. But I guess the trucks always hit it every once in a while and end up mangling it, or it gets caught on the body of the truck or something like that. But mangled that, and it busted up all the concrete too, so they got to pour a new slab and fix that. But that's our job. Chris Wojnarski is back again with our welding fabrication video for you guys. Today is April 2nd, Wednesday, 2025. Today's weather in sunny Dunedin, Florida. It's 89 degrees. It's starting to heat up here today, so definitely starting to get warmer. We'll be here before we know it, or it's already here. Anyway, this will be pretty interesting. So just pretty much cut out an 8x8 by 1/4 inch plate and then drill some holes in it. So that's one thing. I got the plate up on the saw over there, and then here I just got to chop it off, but it's so mangled this way. I don't think I'd like to fit it in a bandsaw, but I probably won't be able to with this thing, or I got to do a little maneuvering for it. And even to get a porta band on here, it's going to make it like a 1 inch shorter or something. So what I'm going to do is just chop it right here, 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 here with the plasma. I could just chop the whole thing and just grind it and make it straight and weld it on. Maybe I'll do that, or I'll just chop the plate off and then put it on the saw and get a nice square cut on there after. Even though this thing's on there, I might have to shim it off a little bit, but we'll see as I go along. I'll just try doing that and see how mangled it is and everything, and go from there. Anyway, we're getting towards the end of the day. I just wanted to go over that, and I'll cut my little piece, and that'll be it. And we'll get back to you guys tomorrow on this. Here will be our base plate, 1/4 inch thick, 8 inch flat bar, and just a big long piece of flat bar, and then just chop it 8 inches long, deburr it around the corners maybe, and drill some holes. So we'll chop it and get back to you with that tomorrow. And there she is. Now I just got to put that thing back on the ground. Probably do that with the forklift. Save our back a little. Our advice for today: save your back, work smarter, not harder, and just use the forklift. Might take a couple seconds longer, but definitely worth it. Just like that. And there you go. There's our piece, 8x8. I just got to drill some holes, but I deburred it. One thing I always like to do, especially with base plates, instead of making it sharp like that, even though the cover will come over top of it, so it really doesn't matter, I always like to round the corners. That way, this doesn't matter, but if it was out in the open somewhere, someone doesn't stub their toe on it, just makes it look a lot nicer and function better. That's it for today, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. All right, we're back again tomorrow, or today, whatever, but it's pretty hot, so 91 today, so we're going to be cranking on some fans. So what I'm going to do is just take the plasma off that weld and maybe just grind it down, but we'll see from there. But at least just chop off all that, and if I need to cut it, I'll cut it, but maybe just grind it down, so we'll see. So I'm just trying to cut as close as I can to the tubing without cutting through it, and just trying to cut the weld down, so do as least grinding as possible. All right, so let's check it out. We got a nice cut on it, but I realized that there's the base plate on there stuck. I'm still probably grind it and pop it off, or I might just try popping it in the saw if I can and give it a quick cut. If not, I'll just grind it down. So your auto darkening helmet comes in handy too for that plasma cutting. Just turn it down to like a shade 5 and works pretty good. Protects you too. All right, I think we got it. I got cutting about like 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch off. Doesn't really matter. But what I'm going to do, I shimmed it up like a 1x3 rectangle tubing, and I just put it away. Didn't put it under the welds or anything, and just make sure. So shim it up a little bit so it's not sitting on that excess right there. And pretty good. So ready to cut. And there you have it. Should be a nice, fresh, straight cut. Pretty easy. Yeah, definitely a lot easier than grinding that whole weld down, trying to beat that plate off and doing a straight cut. Easy just to bring it over here, plop it in, shim it up, chop it. Now just deburr it and grind off some of that paint and mill scale or whatever, and we'll start prepping that plate. For this plate, we still got to drill a center hole and then 4 bolt holes going around. So the center hole is just for the wires to go through. So I think that's 1.5 inch hole. Okay, so we got it all ground down, deburred, cleaned up and everything. Same thing with this plate. Mill scale ground off where I need to weld it. Now I just got to drill some holes and 1 center hole. That's 1.75 inches actually. Man, this paint it's like powder coat. That stuff was on there like crazy. Just flat disc got glazed over or like melted into there, so I had to get some other wheels and do that. But we got it. So drill some holes and go from there. So just marking out the center of it where I'll lay that center hole, and then each hole right there is about 3/4 or 1 inch, I forget, and I'll use a square to mark it. Then after that, just center punch each hole and we'll go to the drill press. I only need a 3/8 hole for this, so I'm just going straight 3/8 for the hole, each 4 of those outside ones. Then I'll move over to that hole saw, which is 1 3/4, bump it down to my slowest setting on the drill press, and just go slow and use some oil. Makes your bit last a lot longer. And there you have it. 1 3/4 inch holes, 3/8 holes on the outside. Good to go. Deburr, clean up all the oil on it, and we'll go from there. Right. Drilled, deburred. Now we just gotta lay out our thing 2x4 and start fitting it up and welding it. I probably shouldn't have wiped off that center mark before and made it a little longer, but that's all right. Still just mark out 2x4. And there you have it, 2x4. So lay that out. So I kind of just clamped it up like that, and I'll just start fitting it up like this. And I'll show you how the fireball tool is a little handy with this. So you just clamp the square up there and clamp it like butt up flush to the end, and then you can put your plate up there and kind of center it up on your lines. It's just a little harder to see on both sides and up at the top, so that was my fault with how I clamped it down. And just take a square, match it up over, see if it's square. Now I'll just take the other square and clamp it going the other way. All right, so fireball square that way and square this way, and then I'm on my marks. Plate's nice and square, so that should be pretty good, and take it that their slab is level. Now we're on to tacking and welding, just tacking each corner, and it's a little hard to get on that side and see on that side, but we manage it. Take the squares off, don't really need to be on, and get them out of my way. Now I'll just start welding it. I'm just weaving it in using, I think, an 1/8 or 3/32 rod. I'll probably mention in a second, and just going along all the way around. It doesn't have to be a big pass. Really, I should have made it smaller. That way this thing would break, the weld would break if a truck hits it again, and instead of the slab breaking up and everything. That's really the goal, but this is fine for how it is. All right, my friends, you want to see the final product? Give you a show and tell, I guess. Drum roll. All right, I just did a little weave on it. Not super pretty, not the best, not the worst, but it is functional. And it could be even uglier, because you know why? That's going to cover it anyway. But we want it to be good looking and strong and everything, so that's it. Now I was going to do 2 passes on it, but I decided to do 1 because our goal here is not to make it super strong, because last time, well, this one, it just ripped up the whole concrete. So instead of like 3/2 inch or 3/4 inch anchors, they're going to do 1/4 inch, and hopefully they'll just break off instead of ripping up the whole slab like it did this time. So I really should have just did 1/16 wire and just dabbed it, made it stronger, so that way if someone hit it again, it would just rip that, but that's all right. Now I'll just go 1 step above it and give it a quick little paint in, and it does have a slight little warp to it, but once they anchor it down, it'll suck it back down that way. So we got our primer on there, and just hit it with a little black paint. We only got gloss, but still better than nothing. Just a courtesy. If it's not that much painting to do and I have the same color paint, I'll just throw a little paint on it, help protect it, and courtesy. All right, just came back from lunch. Let this thing dry. I think it's good enough to go. Still a little tap. Whoa. What was that? Whoa. Something over there Gerald did. Whoa. He was messing around over there with something, but anyway, back to it. Yeah. nice and dry, ready to go. So could just call the customer, but that's about it. Pretty easy. Got their hole in the bottom. They could fish their wires through like that, anchor it down. So they use 1/4 inch anchors, and we did 3/8 holes, and if they want to drill bigger, but good to go. Simple, easy job. And that is how it'll look. The cover's on top. They're just sliding down. I don't feel like putting something on it, but they got their little keypad thing up here. I guess that'll be, I don't know what that'll be. Either a microphone or a little dial pad or something. But pretty good. And if they need to, they'll just shim it whichever way, depending on their slab. But it should be straight, and I think that looks good. So simple, easy, effective job. Not too bad. Let me know what you think. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that, and somewhat, we'll see if it's less than a 20-minute video. But I don't know, we'll see. Yeah, thank you for watching. Stay tuned for the next one. We'll see you guys on the next one. Chris Wojnarski, over and out. That to that.